everyone. Today we'll be discussing assessment and differentiation in the 21st century classroom. And throughout our discussion today, we'll be talking about how technology lends a hand to differentiation and assessment by looking a little deeper into assessment and differentiation, but also we want to look at some different tools that we could actually use here in Rome City Schools and determine at least one tool that we could use to strengthen our assessment uses and also differentiate our students' lessons. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to share with you is the definition for differentiation. So in the book, Leadership for Differentiating Schools and Classrooms by Tomlinson and Allen in 2006, they express that the definition for differentiation is a teacher's reacting responsively to a learner's needs. A teacher who differentiates and understands students' needs basically can look at anything that's going on in the classroom and provide for that student whatever is going to strengthen them to make them better adapted to whatever we're doing in the classroom. Whether it's working in a group, having additional teaching on a particular skill, or just diving deeper into a topic so that they understand fully what's going on in the discussion. Differentiation is simply attending to the learner's needs of a particular student or small group of students rather than the more typical pattern of teaching the class through all individuals in it were basic alike. So it's like teaching everybody in the class, or it's not teaching everyone in the class, it's focusing in on each individual student and identifying what their needs are. So teachers who can reach those students who have diverse learning needs through technology, and the technology will allow students to adapt their learning through the instruction that's given. And usually we want to try and provide those students with multiple types of instruction. As educators, we want to teach the whole child by providing them with different types of instruction that will appeal to that student's learning style. So this relates a lot back to Bloom's taxonomy and how we look at the different levels of learners, but we also look at Gardner's theories of intelligence, and we can look through those and understand that students always learn in a different way. So differentiation is important because not all students learn the same way, and we have to be able to provide for every student's need in the classroom. Next, we want to define assessment. So the Great Schools Partnership 2015 describes assessment as the following. In education, the term assessment refers to the wide variety of methods or tools that educators use to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness, learning progress, skills acquisition, or educational needs of a student. So assessment's a very important tool for educators in today's classroom. The data that we pull from assessments is huge for us because it not only does it allow us to differentiate what's going on in the classroom, but it also allows us to further meet the needs of those students that are struggling and identify what students are struggling and which students are being successful. From a district standpoint, using assessments allows us to kind of step back and look at what our teachers need and also what our schools need. This goes as far as professional learning, but it can also apply to the different technology tools we provide our teachers. So by using that data and looking through all the data that we have from previous tests, we can look at what our learners are needing and then differentiate their needs based off those assessments and provide them with the tools that they need to be successful, or just provide the teachers with what they need to be successful. The best part about all this is that we can help our schools meet their school improvement plan goals, and we can actually increase the number of proficient and exemplary or distinguished students on the Georgia EOC milestone testing. So there's a lot of positives that we can have here, but we've got to be able to use the data-driven decision-making to help us better improve our district and make more informed decisions on what we need to do for our students and teachers. So what is technology's connection? How do we connect technology to differentiation and assessment? So through Web 2.0 tools, we can actually they actually allow use to differentiate the materials we teach while providing everyone in the school system with data that can help us better achieve our school goals. Using a data-driven approach allows us to look through these technology tools and see how they can impact how we teach our students, as well as how we meet their needs based on their assessments. So using tools, using Web 2.0 tools allows us to look at not only the assessments, but how we actually teach our students. And there's a couple of tools that'll lend directly towards that, so that's what we're going to look at in today's presentation. So tools to integrate for assessment and differentiation within the Rome City Schools District. I've actually chosen 3, and those 3 are Edulastic, GradeCam, and Nearpod. All 3 tools provide excellent feedback for assessment, but each one has its own little way of differentiating, and it'll differentiate both students, but it also differentiate how teachers use these tools. So it's important to look at both of them, because we got to remember that teachers are going to be using this to better strengthen our students' understanding of the standards, but we've also got to understand that we want to have something that we can look at a district level to help us make more informed decisions as well. The first tool I'll be sharing with you is called Edulastic. Edulastic is an amazing Web 2.0 tool that provides everyone with immediate real-time feedback on any assessment. Edulastic collects a great deal of data for every student. Educators can look at the data based by standard, class, individual student. They can do item analysis, or even they can look at the time analysis, which is great for students that like to rush through or Christmas tree tests. So if you'll notice down here at the bottom, I've included a picture that has some different, kind of an example. This is actually an example pulled from the website, so this is not any particular students, so I'm not releasing any information on any students. But if you look at it, you can kind of see how it's set up, how you can go in and you can see which questions students got wrong. But you can also look at it from a whole viewpoint, where you can see how many students got question 1 right, question 2, question 3, and so on and so forth. The red indicates where students are missing the questions. Yellow indicates where they're getting partial credit, and green is identifying the correctness. The blue line here is identifying the time that was spent on each question. So you can actually dive into this and see some specific information that will help you not only strengthen your classes, but it's also good from a district standpoint, because all the district leaders can pull this information and use it to help develop what professional learning teachers need to be getting in order to strengthen these student scores. So it's a good way to kind of look at it throughout the year and be able to get a better understanding of what we're doing for our students. So Edulastic's an awesome tool. Also, you can look at you can have 30 plus questions on this. There's 30 different types of questions that you can use. So there's a lot that's built into this, but it's a great testing, great assessment tool that we can use, and we can also differentiate the types of questions we're asking our students. GradeCam's the second tool that I'll be sharing with you. GradeCam is a technology-based assessment tool for data collection, and really this one doesn't have anything that's going to differentiate the students' needs, which is one thing I don't like about it. But there is a lot of great stuff that GradeCam can do for us. GradeCam is a great option for our school district because it allows teachers who already have paper tests the opportunity to continue using the same test they have in the past. But the data can be collected on GradeCam using the digital answer documents, which allows us to put it in a digital format. So it's a great option to differentiate with our teachers, especially the older ones who may not use technology as often or think technology is a bad use of time. But we can use this tool to kind of facilitate the technology and give them something to use to look at data and be able to pull the information. And once again, this gives item analysis, item summaries. It breaks it up by student, classes, standard, all the different stuff. And you can look at and see in the example down here at the bottom, this is an item summary that you can see kind of how it looks whenever you look at it. But this gives you data not only on your classes, but it gives you the whole aspect of everything that we're looking at. You can look at the entire grades, you can look at the entire school, and be able to differentiate and use some of that information to help determine what your schools need individually. Nearpod is a technology-enhanced differentiation instruction tool. This is going to be more focused on more of an interactive presentation tool. It's going to differentiate the whole child. It's going to give you the science, the civics, social studies, digital citizenship movement. It applies a lot of different ways, and it asks questions in an awesome way. It gives you a lot of different features, including a draw it feature, but then you also have the multiple choice. Lots of different ways of answering questions and looking at questions here. This is a great tool, but it's not so awesome when it comes to the assessments information. It's hard to share, but it does collect a little bit of assessment information or data that teachers can use, but not so much at a district standpoint. District leaders could use the summaries to help them make decisions here, but once again, it's a little bit more difficult to share that information which makes Nearpod not so high on my list here. It's a great tool for instruction, but not so great if we're trying to differentiate, or if we're trying to pull assessments and use those assessments to help us make more informed decisions. So be cautious of that. So how do these tools compare? You can see over to the right I've made a quick diagram of just how these different tools compare. Question format, you can see EduElastic's the top on that. It's got 30 plus technology enhanced items, where GradeCam is going to be more teacher created tests, and Nearpod is going to have multiple choice type questions, as well as, like I said, there's a draw it feature which allows you to draw your answers, but there's not a whole lot that Nearpod is going to offer compared to what EduElastic can. All of these are going to be student-paced. You can make Nearpod teacher-paced as well. Question order, we know that we can do teacher design or we can do random. The other two only offer teacher design here, so EduElastic kind of tops them on that. Built-in resources, EduElastic does provide built-in resources where GradeCam does not, but Nearpod does. Pacing, we got student pace there as well. Teacher paced on Nearpod is included. We kind of already discussed that with our timing. Media, we know that images and video can be included in both EduElastic and Nearpod, but not GradeCam. And then these are going to be private. You can make Nearpods public is the only option that they give, which makes them a little bit better than the others. But we want to make sure that when we're looking at assessments, we keep that information private. All of them are capable of being used on mobile or computer devices. If you have Chromebooks, it works well for all three. And then best uses are formative and summative assessments for EduElastic. Just summative assessments is what I would use GradeCam for. It gets a little bit time consuming if you try and do formative assessments on that as well. And then Nearpod is great for instruction and formative assessments. Alright, so what can we conclude from these Web 2.0 tools? Differentiated instruction for the whole child is important here. We want to make sure that we're meeting the entire child's needs and trying to find out ways to differentiate our assessments. Tools provide data for the entire school district. It's important to make sure that we're providing data for the entire school district. That way everybody can make informed decisions on what they need to do. Everyone wins when they're using these tools. I don't think there's a bad tool on this list, but there are just specific tools that would be better suited for the needs that we're looking at. And we can meet the needs of every student using these tools by looking at the assessments and providing them with instant feedback. School improvement goals are also met, and then Georgia milestone testing scores will improve just because we can look at that assessment data and be able to get a better understanding of it. So my recommendations and rationale here, I recommend using EduElastic. EduElastic provides both differentiation and assessment to help students succeed. Students can be assessed using 30 plus questions, which is a huge plus compared to the other two tools because we can differentiate those different types of questions, and that'll help us understand a little bit more of what the student knows and help them understand the learning process. Teachers, administration, and district level staff can all view the results from any assessment. So that's a great positive when we have the purchase version of EduElastic. Results can also be used to provide teachers with the appropriate professional learning, which is key, and teachers can use data to differentiate the needs of their students on every test. And hopefully with all this, we hope to be able to use the standards information on EduElastic for end of the year reviews so that we can help strengthen our scores on the Georgia Milestones testing. Alright, so here's a couple of resources that I pulled from this information. It was very important in our discussion with the definitions. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to follow me on Twitter at jfricks10, or you can email me at jfricks@rcs.rome.ga.us. I accidentally typed in one too many J's there, so don't forget to take that one J off. All right. So thank you guys, and I hope I gave you some kind of road to lead down for assessment differentiation. Like I said, if you have any questions or you have any concerns, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to dive a little deeper into EduElastic and give you a better understanding of it. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time.